Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my humble home, my simple little casa here in Livingston, Montana. Okay, today's date is March 29th of 2021. Now look, I've tried to do this movie a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 different times and screwed everything up and lost my train of thought and all this other crap, so I hope on this version, this rendition, I can get through this. And the subject matter that I want to talk to you folks about for a few minutes, I'll try to get through this as fast as I can, is this subject of being addicted to tobacco products, and that's including vaping. Now, how I got my mind set on this subject was simply because this weekend I had a conversation via email from one of my subscribers, and we got to talking about this thing. And he had a friend of his, or a girlfriend, or a sister, or somebody. Davey, I hope you're getting all this. This friend of mine, he's over in Minnesota. His name's Davey, David, whatever. But he was telling me that he had this female associate of his, I can't remember what he said now, that was having one dickens of a time quitting smoking. I do believe he was talking about cigarettes and that kind of stuff. Well, look, I quit smoking cigarettes about 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. And how I did it with nicotine vaping. But after I vaped for a few years and spent a small fortune on that stuff, I ended up having to quit vaping too, because that stuff was getting me all lunged up and scratchy throat and all this other crap, because your lungs were only made to take in air, i.e. oxygen, and in exchange for CO2, or carbon dioxide, I do believe. You start plugging up these lungs of yours and you're starting to get into some serious health problems. Now, let me help you out with this business of cigarettes right off the get-go. The worst kind of cigarettes for you are any kind of cigarette that's got a filter on it. Because every time you take a hit off of that filter, you're getting microscopic pieces of that filter, which is actually kind of a fiberglass-like stuff, and it goes right straight into your lungs. They got a medical name for it. By the way, I'm no addiction therapist, I'm no doctor, I'm no shrink, I'm none of this stuff. This stuff, getting yourself free of nicotine and vaping and all that stuff is tough, but it can be done. I did it. And that's the purpose of me making this video, to tell you that you can do it. It's just that doggone simple, And what happened to me, okay, let me get down to the meat of this so I can make some sense. Over the years, I'm a Vietnam veteran, okay, and I started smoking in Vietnam. That place made me nervous. There was people trying to kill me, okay? But the VA, the wonderful VA, and their infinite wisdom, that every time I go to the VA, well, not every time, but a lot of times, I'd go to the VA to have some problems, stomach problems, or some doggone thing, and they'd always look at me and say, well, after all, Jim, you smoke cigarettes, like I was some kind of a diseased individual. They were continually bringing up this subject of smoking, like, we can't do anything for you medically, which is a bunch of bullshit, because you smoke. That's exactly the way the VA made me feel. And I don't know how many times I was bitched at and griped at from nurses, doctors, and all this other stuff. So finally one day I told myself, okay, you bastards want to play like this? I'm going to quit smoking. I got mad. I got real mad. Now key in on that getting real mad thing, because I'm going to tie it into you here in a minute. But I finally got gumption enough to quit smoking cigarettes. I did it with the aid of vaping, which I eventually quit. That way I could go to the VA and tell every one of them SOBs, them doctors, them nurses and everything. Anytime the subject of smoking come up, I'd look at them and say, I don't smoke anymore. Next issue. I put them in a position where they had to start looking at other factors of my health other than this smoking business. I got mad. And that's what I need for you folks to do. There's 2 things here I need to have you realize. Number 1, when it comes to vaping, okay, where did this coronavirus supposedly come from? China, right? Okay. Back when I was vaping, a lot of these coils, atomizers, tanks, e-juice, a lot of this stuff, the mods, the electronic mods that fire everything, guess where they come from? China. China doesn't have, I mean, they import a lot of stuff into the United States, and unfortunately, some of this stuff isn't healthy, especially when it comes to that vaping stuff. Now stop and think about what I just said. You want to be vaping and smoking, or not smoking, but vaping off of stuff that's made in China? I don't think so. And even if it wasn't made in China, it's not healthy because the stuff is screwing up your lungs. Eventually, you're not going to be able to breathe right. And everybody that's addicted and knows they're addicted knows that I'm telling the truth. Okay, know that. You're using products that are coming out of a foreign country. They don't give a shit about us Americans. Get your head out of your rear end. Okay, and number 2 is you got to get flat determined. You can quit. You can get over the addiction to nicotine. It's not that big of a deal. Get mad. If you can't get glad, get mad. Get mad enough at something, a doctor, a therapist, get mad at the politicians, get mad at the tobacco company, get mad at all these people that make vaporizers, get mad at these people that make things to get you addicted. Get so mad that it motivates you to quit. Did you hear me? That's how you do this. That's how I did it. I had a desire bigger than smoking on something. And I've been smoke-free and vape-free and all this free for a long time. I do not put anything in, I do not vape, smoke anything. And as a disabled Vietnam veteran, if I'm able to do it, you're able to do it. So Davey boy, that girl that you were telling me about, send her the link to this file here. Young lady, what I want you to do is have some faith in yourself and get pissed off. Tell yourself, I can do this. Because all you got to do is let time help cure you. As time goes on, the cravings become less and less and less. And another thing that I'll say here, what helped me out a lot, the patches. You know them patches that you put on? If some doctor gives you those patches, whatever you do, don't smoke with those patches on because you'll double up the amount of nicotine in your system and it could give you a stroke. I am not kidding you. But the thing that helped me out the very most when I quit nicotine for real, I'm talking about vaping, electronic cigarettes, you know, that kind of stuff. What I did when it got really, really bad, when the temptation to smoke got bad, the craving and all that stuff, is I just took a little piece of nicotine gum, popped it in my mouth, and chewed it for half a day. You know, I never did use a lot of nicotine gum, but through the first week or two, I used quite a bit because the VA, they actually gave me some nicotine gum to help me, you know. I realize that there's a lot of people that just can't. They just can't quit smoking. You know, and I know what happens. They'll say, I don't have the willpower. Sure you do. You know, it's going to take some time because it took you time to get addicted. It's going to take you time to get unaddicted. And as time goes on, once you quit, the cravings get less and less and less. So that's how I did it. I just up and quit smoking cigarettes. I started vaping, you know, e-juice and all that. But I eventually had to quit that because it was screwing up my lungs and making me all raspy and all that stuff. And then when I finally got through all this crap, then I chewed me a little nicotine gum, and that's the end of it. But really, you're not going to die. You know how people go, oh man, I just got to go outside, I'm dying for a cigarette. No, you're dying because of a cigarette. There are people that want you to be addicted to their poison. Pay attention to me here. There are people out here in this world that don't care about you. They don't care about your lungs. They just want you addicted so you come back to the poison well. You keep coming back, cigarette after cigarette, puff after puff, vape after vape. You understand what I'm getting at? They've got you. They've got you. And what you want to do is get yourself so mad that you say, I'm not playing the game anymore. I am not playing the game anymore. Are you hearing me, Davy boy? Okay. Now that's how you do this deal. You get tough inside. You get, it's just like when I was in the NOM. I remember one night we were, we had intelligence reports that we were going to get a hit that night. And, with the enemy, VC, the Charlie and everything. And I told myself that night, sitting out there on bunker guard with my M60, I says, I'm not dying in this son of a bitch. I don't care what I got to do, but I'm coming out of here alive. And that's the way you got to think when it comes to these things called cancer sticks and all this other good smelling shit. You got to tell yourself, I don't care what goes on in my life, but I am not killing myself with nicotine and all this other stuff. Vaping and e-juice and the latest mods. I know, I've been through it all. Now, how many minutes I got on here? Okay, I'm at 11 minutes. I'm pretty good. I don't like these sermons I give. I don't like to make them too long. But just have some willpower, get mad, get determined, and you can do it. You can. Because I've done it, and so, let's see, we got 11 and a half minutes. I don't want to go too much further past 12 minutes. But anyway, I hope you understand what I'm saying. But back in my index of videos, you're going to see a whole bunch of videos where I was promoting, that's because I wasn't smoking cigarettes because I thought vaping was okay. Vaping is not okay. Putting foreign substances in your lungs is not medically sound. Amen and amen. Okay, I just kicked over 12 minutes. That's good enough. We'll see you on down the trail. Take care of yourselves. And adios, my friends. Get out of here.